Hey everybody, it's me, it's Undead Viking, coming to you here with another video review. The game that I'm reviewing today is, well, it's kind of a cool play on words for the game. As you all know, or, well, theoretically, if you've watched one of my videos, you know this. One of my favorite game mechanics, or action mechanics, I guess, in games is worker placement. I just love the idea of having my little dudes and I get to put them on the spot that I want to place them, and then I get to take that action, and then it just kind of there's a lot of reasons why I like it, but mostly the reason I probably like it the most is because of the fact that it inspires some player interaction, because of the fact that you're like taking spots that other people would want, and you're affecting other people's turns and things like that. And I really dig that that part of the game. But the game I'm reviewing today is a worker placement game that is literally called Worker Placement. I don't have a game box. Here's the rules. But I don't have a game box because it's a game, obviously it's a Kickstarter game, as you know. Here's the board. You'll be seeing more of that soon. And it has all these little places where people can go to work, and you're placing your workers. And the whole idea is that you run a temp agency, and you are trying to make a bunch of money in the little area of the world that you're living in, this city, by like sending your workers off to learn valuable skills, and then there's a certain number of jobs that you have to like fulfill. And when you fulfill those jobs, if you're familiar with temp agencies, the way they work is that they have this pool of people that have these different abilities, and then companies say, hey, we need 4 people that know how to program or whatever. And then they say, oh, well, I got these 4 people right here, and then they send them off to work at that company. And those people make a wage, so they're happy because they're making money. And then the temp agency gets like a cut, if you will, and so they have money income coming in, and so on and so forth. And so at its heart, this game kind of is an economic game, because the person who wins the game is the person who has the most money at the end of the game. And so you'll be spending money to do certain things, which is something I like, but I'll get more into that a little bit later. But ultimately, the money is basically the victory points. So whoever ends up with the most money wins the game. It's a very, well, you know what, I'm already like doing my conclusion here. So why don't I show you how to play worker placement, and then I'll tell you exactly what I think about the game after that. Alright, cool. Well, let's do that. Here we have the game board for worker placement. Now, as with any Kickstarter game, I don't know exactly whether this is the final art or anything like that. I would guess this is very close to how the game is going to look. The tokens I know are going to be different looking. I think they'll have meeples and also like some specific tokens actually for the different spots. But this is what I have for the prototype, and it works very well. Just quickly describing the board to you. You see a couple decks of cards. This is your job deck. You'll be drawing these cards to reveal the jobs that you'll be trying to satisfy to earn you the money that ultimately determines who wins the game. These are the different business cards. You'll have a hand of these that you can have. You start with 4 cards. During the game you get to draw more. You can only ever have 5 cards in your hand, so if after the end of a round, if you have more than that, you have to discard. Over here you have a turn track. You can determine how long you want the game to be. You can have it last 5 turns and be short. You can have it last 8 and be standard, or you can have a really long game with 12 turns if you so desire. Other than that, you can see there's just the pretty standard spots on the board where you're going to be placing workers as the game continues. And those will actually, then you'll take the action that's afforded to you on that spot. Down here you see this is like a little thumb up track. This is the reputation of your company. The higher up on the reputation track you go, the better off you're going to be as far as being able to take the first turn. This is the, like as always, it seems like every game has this scoring on the outside of the game board, and so once again, yes, that's where the scoring is. As far as reputation is concerned, it helps determine who is the first player by you hand out these cards that'll have a 1, 2, or 3. You do this randomly. Unlike a lot of worker placement games where like there's a spot that'll allow you to work on your turn order and move things around. I mean, there's some cards that you can get that can alter it, but for the most part, getting your reputation up and then getting lucky with these cards determines who's the first player. So like when you hand out these cards, you add 1 plus your spot on this, and then that you figure out that's what number you're at, and so on and so forth. And then what happens is that whoever's got the highest number will get to place. Over here you can see there's the player turn order track. The reason why some of these are in white and some of these are green is that this base game is for 5 players, but there's an expansion I think that they're thinking about making, or they are going to make, that will expand the game to 8 players. So you can actually have a lot of people playing the game at once. You start at 2 money. You can go down to 0. You can't go lower than 0. You can't go bankrupt, if you will. So you hand out these cards, and then you figure out who's the first player. And I'll just put these down. Each person takes one. So let's just say blue, then white, and then red. So that would be like the turn order. And after you determine the turn order, then you're going to reveal the jobs that are available this turn. And so you have to take at least 1 for each player. So we have 3 players, plus you have to have a minimum of 4 jobs available. Now, a lot of games like you're going to be claiming these cards to get your points. So we'll just kind of turn them over. I'm going to show you the cards really quick so you can kind of see what they are. You can see it says like Roadkill Custodian. It lists off what it is, and then it tells you these are the cubes, the skills that you have to satisfy to be able to take this job. And then you can see that there is a like you would earn 4 money on the track on the outside there. You get the 4 money, and also you see thumbs. It's not a very reputable job, so you wouldn't get anything on the thumb track. But you can see like here, it's like it has like a fun little text. Custodian shall locate, remove, and dispose of deceased roadside animals. Shovels and spatulas provided. Ha 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 ha. So it has little things like that. Meaning extractor. Using strategically placed wireless microphones, candidate should listen to everything my spouse says and provide me with a translation so I will know what is expected of me. Ha 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 ha. Airplane repo man, you can see that's actually worth a thumb. And snake milker. So obviously the game's got a little bit of a sense of humor. So you go ahead and you place the jobs up here, so everybody can see them and they can see what they want to shoot for as far as that particular turn, as far as what job they're going to try to get. Now remember, I said you started with 4 of these business cards, and business cards come in 3 different types. They come in like a skill card, which is just a cube. This is later you'll be collecting cubes of the different colors for the different types of skills. Remember, you saw those on the jobs. And then these can be turned in just like the cubes can. Some of them will have this on them, meaning that it's basically any color cube. You can turn that in and it satisfies anything. And obviously, there's others that, have the different colors and what have you. All right. Another type of card that is available is these are management cards. And management cards are the cards that kind of let you just break the rules a little bit. And in order to use a management card, you actually have to use a spot on the board that allows you to play it. You can see over here, the career consultant will allow you to play a management card. And otherwise that's the only way you can actually play a management card. And the last card that you have available to you when you are the actual workers. So, and then here you go. You can see Ed Quantum Grimsby. You can see he has a bonus of a thumb if you use him. He's already got 1, the black cube for a skill. And Quantum is best known for hacking TSA computers and releasing details about airport scanner radiation. So you have to have a worker in your hand to be able to take a job, because you're sending the worker to work that. Now, obviously, this guy isn't going to be very helpful because his bonus skill, nobody has that kind of skill. However, you can see this dude, Jacques here.
After studying feat of most pretentious mime award, Jacques has resorted to back alley miming for food. But you'll notice he's got the 2 green cubes, and like if you had him, he'd be perfect for the snake milker as long as you can get those 2 red cubes, and you'd be able to send him to go work that job. So those are the different types of cards that you have. Now, after you've shown the jobs, you now can do what's called, you can draft business cards. So everybody gets 3 of these, and they keep 1. And I love drafting. I love card drafting. I've always loved card drafting in games. So you keep 1 of the cards, and then, so you have 3 cards. You pick 1 of these. Then you hand 1 of them to the person on your left, and then you'll take the other one, and you'll put it over here in the peer networking group. And in the peer networking group, what happens is that if there's only 3, you just turn all 3 over and you put them on there. If there are more than 3, you'll randomly select 3 of the cards, and then you'll place them down there. And so let's say these are the 3 that get placed. So and as luck would have it, we will have a management card, a skill card, and also a worker card, like so. And so now you will bid on trying to grab 1 of these cards. And so you can see this one will steal money from an opponent. This one's worth any card. This one's a worker. So you take 1 of your available workers, and you go ahead and you try to bid by placing your workers on this track. And you can see it goes 1 all the way up to 5. And as you bid, you will try to get to, like, you're trying to decide obviously what these cards are worth to you. And you can pass. You don't have to bid anything on this track down here, and then you can also. But as soon as you pass, as with a lot of bidding games, you're out. You can't bid any longer. And but so you can bid and you move up, and then after everybody has decided that they're not going to bid any higher, you then at that point have to pay the amount that is on this list here, and then you can select those cards and put those in your hand. If any cards that aren't taken are just put in the discard pile, like so. And just so if none of these are bid on, nobody decided they want to spend their money, they want to save it, you take all 3 of those cards and you put them in the discard pile like that. If you ever run out of the business cards, you just shuffle up the discard pile and make another deck. However, with the job cards, if you ever run out of job cards, you're out of job cards. You can't do anything with it. There's no more jobs available. So that is the drafting of the business cards, and then the auctioning as well. Now you actually get to start placing your workers. Now you'll probably maybe have some workers over here, and that's fine. They aren't used up. They're just sitting there on that track waiting to be used. But everybody gets 3, and so you should have 3 left. And now you'll get to place your worker on the actual board, and then take your actions. So you begin with the first player, whoever determined that with the cards and the spot on the thumb, and you put the things on the boards, and then you gain the benefits immediately. Now, some worker placement games then you remove them and you actually get them. Here you just get to place them, and you get what you have. So there's a couple of things. Quickly I'll show you what each thing does. You get a red cube for going there. You get a black cube for going there. Yellow cube for going there. Green cube for going here. The career consultant, I already told you get to play a management card if you go to that particular location. Here at the life coach, you can see that there's you can convert any 1 cube that you've earned into any 2 cubes. Very useful spot, obviously. And then over here at the casino, you can discard any number of your business cards that you have and then draw new ones by placing a person on that spot. And here at the job center, that's where you actually fulfill the jobs. You turn in either cards, cubes, and a worker to fulfill a job, and you move up on the spot. In the call center, I have to chuckle because it's a call center, and because I worked at one for many years. The call center, you can see you earn 2 money. You earn 2 money for doing it, but you lose reputation for sending somebody to work at the call center. So I had to laugh about that, but there you go. You don't ever place anything in the peer networking group during the placing. And then I also, I believe, well, no, actually, I think I did show you everything in that case. So now the one wrinkle that is, you'll notice that a lot of these places have this little spot, time, minus money times worker. So if, say, somebody went there to get a yellow cube, and Blue wanted to get a yellow cube, if they place him there, they have to spend the amount of money times the number of workers that are already there. So Blue would have to spend 1 money on the track to get a yellow cube. And if Red decided they wanted that spot as well, they'd have to pay 2. So you can see that there are these different locations that you can actually make it more difficult for other players to use them by that person. You notice the call center does not have that on there, and the casino doesn't have that on there, and the job center does not have that on there. So there is no, you can have as many meeples on there or workers on there as you want without actually having to pay extra to use those locations. So I mean, that's how the game progresses. So you take your actions, and then as I said, you have 3 workers. So then you have another 3, and somebody will go like this and like that, and maybe they went to the call center, and Blue was able to fill a job, and let's say Blue was able to fill the snake milker, and so they take that card and just put it in front of them. They don't ever you don't replace the job immediately, and so you'll notice that Blue gets 5 money and 1 thumb, so Blue would move up like so, and they move up to 7 on the track like so, and then well, actually, and I should move White up too as well for that, and move them down a thumb. There you go. And so then White goes there, and maybe Red was able to complete a job as well, and so Red could only do the roadkill custodian. So they just get money for their trouble, but that's not so bad because money is points in this game. So there you go. So that would be the end of the first turn. So after everybody's done, you take all the workers that were placed on the board off the board, like so. You'd move the track up to the next spot, and if you have more than 5 business cards, you discard down to 5. And then you just begin again. You hand out these cards. It should be noted, like, say, let's say, like, White got the 3, if you will, and Blue got the 1. So Blue is at 4. 3 plus 1 is 4, and White is 1 plus 3 is 4, and they got those. Who's ever highest on the thumb track, it breaks the tie with that case. So in that case, and also, because Red would have gotten the 2 then, they would, all 3 would be at like a 4. But the track, it would go Blue, Red, White for the next round because you go by the thumb track. You determine, so you would go ahead and go, Blue, Red, White, like so. And then you fill up the spots in the job track that are still needed. And so now we have a Flame Wearist and a Sidekick. And so you go ahead and place those 2. You don't discard the old jobs. They sit out there, and hopefully eventually somebody is able to take those. And then you just begin again. You do the same thing again, and you do that for every single round of the game that you need until if you're playing like a quick game, you just play 5 rounds. Whoever is highest on the money track is then declared the winner of the game. If there is a tie, the tie is determined by the thumb, and then that determines who is the best temp agency in town. So there you go. That's how you play worker placement. It's pretty cool, huh? So let me tell you exactly what I think of the game.
Okay, so there we go. You know how to play worker placement. I do dig how those cubes or whatever, I felt very Rastafarian while playing this game. Anyway, so there you go, worker placement. Now, as you watch me describe how to play the game, what may have been like one of your reactions to it? And this is totally fair, and it's totally cool because the game isn't super complex. I mean, it does have, you know, like neat little shifts and turns to it. You know, but I mean, as far as like a resource worker placement driven game, this is very, very light, if you will. But that's okay, because the goal of this game is to be one of those like gateway games, or also just kind of a lighter game that you can play. This is a game that, like, I did not actually play this with my gaming group. Well, actually, one person from my gaming group joined us, but this is a game that I played with my wife and my mom. You know, and this is a game that, you know, I can get them to play games every once in a while, but this is a game that's like right up their alley as far as the complexity and as far as the choices and things that you may make. And then I also played with a few other people that at my work that over a lunch break that you know, normally wouldn't, and they thought it was kind of funny because it was worker placement or whatever, and because of where I worked, and because we have a temp agency that on site actually at where I work, so it was kind of a fun little you know, experience, if you will. So this is technically kind of a gateway game. Now, gateway games are just that. I mean, everybody's got that game that they played that got them interested in the designer board game hobby. And for some people, that's all they want. I mean, and that's totally cool. I've got people that I know that I have a gaming convention that I have twice a year, and I host it at a local game store that has a large convention area. And there are 4 people that show up every year. I consider them friends. I consider them really awesome people, and they play 3 things. They play Ticket to Ride, or a version of Ticket to Ride. They play Settlers of Catan, or a version of Settlers of Catan, or their most recent branch out was Lords of Waterdeep. Now, all 3 of those games I have played, and all 3 of those games I have enjoyed at some level, whatever. But there are games that I normally want to play. These are the games that they feel comfortable with, and these are the games that they enjoy, because they kind of enjoy like knowing all the rules, and they enjoy, you know, having that nice base level of a game. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, certain gamers just want more, certain gamers want less. And this is a game that I can definitely say that I've enjoyed every single time I played it, because of the fact of the people that I was playing it with. It's a game that, like, I enjoy really deep, heavy games. And my wife will say, she's like, I can't play this game, there's 1,000 things going on. You know, but this is a game that she's enjoyed, and I can share then my hobby with the people that I love that aren't as in-depth into the hobby that I like. And ultimately, that's... Take away the game, take away everything. Why do I play games? I play games because I want to enjoy time with my friends and my family. And the game allows me to do that. It allows me to turn the TV off, turn off my iPod, turn off everything else, and I can just sit down and I can interact with the people that I love. And that's what this game does for me. And that's why I really, really like this game. Now, is it the only game I ever play? No, of course not. But it's the only game this type of game is the only game I'm ever going to play with a certain group of people. And I think that every gamer, hardcore gamer, needs to have a game like this on their shelf, just so they have that thing that they can bust out on Thanksgiving when those relatives that have no idea, they see your game room and they're like, oh my God, look at all these, how could you even play all these, you know, and then you can say, oh, here's this game, you know, that I think you might like, and then you can show it to them, and then maybe you can, you know, spark that interest, that first interest you felt when you first sat down to play like the first game ever, you know, whatever it was Ticket to Ride or whatever. For me, it was Arkham Horror, of all things. But I mean, it's that game that kind of opens that door and lets you know that there are more than just those board games they always see on the wall at Walmart, you know, and so that's what this game is, and I really like it when people, designers, game publishers, try to make another game like that, because it's not an easy thing to do. I mean, and I'm not saying any game design is easy by any means. There's a lot of work and a lot of effort that goes into it, but I know that if I tried to design a game, I'd want it to be complex, and I know I'd want it to be you know, super interesting and have all these thematic components and all these like interlocking mechanisms and things like that that would inspire people to play. And for somebody is to say, I need to make a game that I can teach somebody in like 5 minutes, but also maintains an interest to a heart, both like a really in-depth gamer and also somebody who's just coming to the hobby. And that's a tough thing to do, and I think Worker Placement does that very well. So there you go. I mean, the Kickstarter is either going on right now or will be very, very soon. I invite you to go to that particular site and check that out and see if it's something you'd want to enjoy, and then maybe you can back it, and then you can get it published, and then you'd have it on your shelf, and then you'd be able to use it for just that purpose, for when you want a lighter game or when you want to introduce somebody to this amazing hobby that we all enjoy a great deal. So, all right. Well, if you have any questions or concerns, as always, post those, and I'll answer those to the best of my ability. You can follow me on Twitter at Undead Viking, or you can check me out on Facebook at Undead Viking Videos. And if there's a game you want me to review or something you want to see, or you got a suggestion or a comment, I'd love to hear those. Those are the things that really make my day when I get those things. So, I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And as always, you have yourself an awesome day. All right. Goodbye now.